put satellite tracker boxes in your car and tax you down the road and track everywhere you go. And by the way, we're dialing in and listening to you over your cell phone, even when it's turned off. And by the way, your digital cable boxes watch what you watch and track everything you do. And that's reported back to the government, your TiVo system. And by the way, Google is using the microphones built in computers and video cameras to watch you and listen to you with AI keyword software to keep dossiers on you. Google announces this, and the public just goes, oh, really? Or, oh, I don't believe that. This is mega Orwellville. It's just all around us, but we still have our Second Amendment. We still have our First Amendment, but they're trying to attack those right now. Did you guys find that clip with Robert Wanek when he's where he's talking about how they blacked out his shirt? This has been quite a saga. Let's play a few minutes of that, then we'll go to him. Then we'll go back through everything else that's happened to him in this camp. And that's what it's a re-education camp. And for those that doubt me, in Texas, in Michigan, in all over the country, we've seen these reports, but I've been to these drills. They will unannounced come into a school, announce that terrorists are attacking. They will lock the children in their rooms. And this is in the elementary. Sometimes for 8 hours, they make them urinate and defecate in trash cans. Don't believe me, just Google police made children defecate or use bathroom in trash cans. You'll see that all over the country. And the cops always go, well, it was part of the federal grant. It'd be secret. It was and the children aren't fed to also freak them out and give them low blood sugar. They'll also have the elementary students. This has been going on for a decade. We've got footage of it. The first place we saw it was Missouri, right on the Kansas border. They would, in one town, load the elementary students at gunpoint with their hands behind their heads on buses and take them to a local FEMA center without telling the parents. This is part of learned helplessness, training children that when men in black uniforms come, you just lay down, you just fall down. I had one lady on, it was in the Minneapolis St. Paul newspaper a few years ago, her and her lawyer on. They came unannounced to the school even. Only the administrators knew, went into the portable buildings, told the teachers, we're going to kill you, took them out in the woods with the children. People fell over. They defecated on themselves. This was in the news. They had nervous breakdowns, and the cops were like, what's wrong? In the case of Michigan, all over the state, this was in the Associated Press 4 years ago. Google this, school shooting drill, Michigan. I'm trying to go back to the exact headline. From the AP, it was all over the news. Police drill at school, Michigan. Now, the main one that comes up is there's been 3 cases where the cops shoot themselves in the drills in Michigan. But I don't want those. I want for some reason those got more visits, so those articles went to the top last time I checked. I want the one, and we do this on air so folks can learn how to find the stuff we're talking about. So this isn't just me up here saying it. They show up at elementary schools. They blow up a bus, set it on fire in front of everybody. They've done this in Belton, too. I caught them up and had troops, U.S. Army, walk over and say, turn your cameras off with Marines. That's in Road to Tyranny in 2000. That's when we shot the footage that's in Road to Tyranny. And they get the children out. They don't know what's going on. They throw fake blood on them. They tell them, you're going to die. And the police scream, I'm a militia. I don't like public school. I'm a militia. I don't like you not liking my Second Amendment. I'm going to kill you. For life, those children are going to hate guns. They're going to hate the Second Amendment. They're going to hate militias. And the name of the terror group they have in Michigan, they do this all over the country, that attacks the children, is Homeschoolers Against Public Education. Now the police play the part to demonize homeschoolers. And they run around screaming, throwing fake blood on children, blowing things up in the parking lot. They have the little kids come out. All of a sudden, vehicles jump up, men in uniforms jump out screaming, we're militias, we're against public schools, we're homeschoolers, we're going to kill you. And the children just go into catatonic freakouts. I mean, this is in the news. This is hardcore re-education camp. I mean, this is what they do in re-education camps. But see, now they're turning all of America into a re-education camp. It's a re-education camp the thousands of times from California to New York to Florida to Texas where they say, we're giving you $100 gift certificates if you come turn in your guns. And it's always an old grandpa whose daughter, he's going to the nursing home. You see, because they polled the women. It's always 80% women out there. And they're there handing in $5,000 carved shotguns made in England. They're handing in, having no idea how much money they could have made just alone to the police. And some people bring in old cheap guns and get the $100 gift certificate. And then the image is put on the news of illegal guns being turned in, and it creates the image, the acclamation of seeing everybody turning their guns in. And then the police always get caught, or not all. I've seen thousands of cases in the news over the 15 years I've been studying, 13 years on air, where you always hear about cops selling. I've seen this. I mean, there's thousands of cases of cops selling guns that were seized or guns that were turned in. You can Google that. Were you able to find a clip? Well, man, I know that's the video clip, but were you able to find the Google about the particular one where they were telling the children they were going to kill them and that they were homeschoolers? We're homeschoolers. We're here to kill you. Again, to demonize homeschooling. This is hardcore mind control. But let's go ahead and play a clip of Robert Wanek, where he's talking about how they restricted him from being able to engage in the First Amendment. Here it is.
I'm going to talk about something that recently happened in school. Approximately 3 p.m., dismissals at 3:18. 3 p.m., I was assisting a student who had been assaulted by another student with an object thrown at him, and I was talking to him, and the teacher comes over and says, "Shut up. Say one more thing, you're out." And did you just see what happened between them? Then I said, "This is America. This is not a dictatorship." She said, "Leave." So I left. I sat down in the office. 10 minutes till school gets out. Said, "What am I being written up for? Disrespect. I'm told to leave." Then, you know what? I'm going to get riled up. So then they say, "Robert, you're going to have to be quiet." Why do I have to be quiet? Be quiet. Why do I have to be quiet? Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up and go in that room! What a disrespectful kid. Bad kid.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. That's another clip where they then call the police on him for mentioning the Constitution. We'll get him to tell us that story himself. The clip I wanted to play was where the 9/11 Truth T-shirt, one of the first clips he did. But let's just go ahead and go to him, and we'll play that clip a little bit longer later in the show. Robert, good to have you back with us.
Yeah, glad to be back on, Alex.
You bet. Look. Recap everything that's happened to you at this re-education camp known as a public school, a federalization brainwashing center, social engineering center. And I mean, just basically all the things that have happened. A brief synopsis of the saga, then we'll go through them all here.
Well, last year when I was a freshman at my high school, everything went fine, and I wasn't a 9/11 truther, and I wasn't into this New World Order. And then I went to science class. I was told that we were going to learn about the physics of 9/11. They then played a hit piece movie basically saying that, you know, the fire was hot enough to completely melt the steel and that it was structural failure.
Which, by the way, they admit that it didn't melt the steel now.
No, NIST even falls back on this.
Yeah, that was an older lie. So you were given an older version of the Ministry of Truth. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then that's how I became a 9/11 truther. So then when I became big in 9/11 truth in school and started passing out flyers and DVDs, this is when I became public enemy number one. The principal had told my parents that he had a red flag up for me and that he was going to be watching me very closely because I was standing up for 9/11 truth.
We got one that can see. You know, from They Live with the Sunglasses. They're like, got one that can see. Go ahead.
And so then later on in the school year, we were just in geography class and had a substitute teacher. When two students began arguing, one student then threw an agenda book, which is it's kind of small item, but it's still a book. It's got binding on it. Threw it and hit another kid in the crotch. The kid then proceeded to fall down. About 5 minutes later, it happened again, struck in the crotch again. This happened a total of 3 times. That's when I was sitting right next to the incident watching a movie, when I just started holding a conversation with the injured kid. I was told to shut up. Instead of retaliating against the teacher, I just tried to tell her, "This kid has been assaulted, I'm just talking." She didn't want to hear it because, you know, we got that red flag up for the 9/11 truther in the school.
That's right. Got to pick on exactly. That's how re-education camp works. Those that don't play ball and team up with the jail guards, they get picked on. You know, they get ostracized. They don't get as much food. They get tortured, and they're slowly, ambiently turning up the heat till many schools are full-bore prison re-education camps.
Exactly. It was.
All right. So you're in the re-education camp. Continue.
It was exactly. I don't care about the assault. I don't want to listen to you. You are nonconformist. You don't comply. with hating your rights, so you just leave.